Good, happy Saturday afternoon, May 16, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Saturday afternoon edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, COVID-19 in New Hampshire. What you need to know. Let's take a look. And here is a look at that COVID-19 in New Hampshire, what you need to know information. There are 3,464 number of people who have tested positive for COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 1,432,045 number of people in the United States who have tested positive. 159 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 335 number of people who have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire, and 86,851 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. Current cases. This map shows current cases of COVID-19 in New Hampshire. Sandwich, 1 to 4 cases. And this map here of New Hampshire shows you total cases in New Hampshire. Multiborough, 1 to 4 cases. Now let's take a look at these three charts here. Let's start with new cases each day in New Hampshire. In the purple, daily new positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, new hospitalizations. And in the red, deaths. This chart, current cases. In the purple, current COVID-19 cases. And in the orange, current hospitalizations. This chart here, total cases. Total COVID-19 cases. In the purple, total hospitalizations in the orange, in the red, deaths in the blue recovered. This chart here shows you by age group. This chart here shows you by female and male. And this chart here shows you risk information. This chart here shows you race/ethnicity of cases. This chart here shows the percent of New Hampshire population. Your common symptoms: fever, lack of smell, cough, chills, and difficult breathing. How it spreads, and prevention tips. Be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. Fitzwilliam man arrested after 15-1/2 hour standoff. Suspect accused of threatening family members, threatening to blow up home. A Fitzwilliam man accused of threatening family members and threatening to blow up his home was arrested late Friday night. According to New Hampshire State Police, troopers and local police responded to a home on Templeton Turnpike in Fitzwilliam around 6:30 a.m. and tried to establish communication with John Riley, 54. Troopers said when those attempts were unsuccessful, the state police SWAT team was called in and one neighboring home was evacuated. A search warrant was obtained for the home, as well as an arrest warrant charging John Riley with felony domestic violence criminal threatening. Around 10 p.m., John Riley surrendered and was taken into custody without incident, according to troopers. John Riley was being held without bail. An arraignment was scheduled for Monday in Cheshire County Superior Court. Thousands without power after thunderstorms cause widespread wind damage. Let's take a listen to that video from WCVB Boston.
With the savings rates offered at some banks, your money almost feels like it's frozen. With Capital One, you can open a new savings account in about 5 minutes and earn 5 times the national average. This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
On Atwater, he's in Shirley right now. That's a big old tree that came down, John.
And really strong winds as this storm came through this neighborhood. Look at this. This is a big pine tree, and this is just one section of it. There are about 5 sections of this big tree. You see it all scattered on the deck here, and then you look up at the roof. A number of branches, some big branches up there, and those have pierced right through the shingles. Now, we'll show you what it looks like on the other side of the house. This is some video from over there. You see all the other parts of this tree. It just broke apart as it came crashing down in this strong storm. There was a woman inside along with her mother and her 10-year-old son. They were just sitting inside watching TV when they saw and heard this tree come down, the branch right through the roof, water pouring in. They called 911. Firefighters told them not safe to stay here, so they are staying somewhere else tonight. But thankfully, no injuries here, but a lot of cleanup out in this area.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. State secure learning devices, internet for all students lacking access. Let's take a listen to that video from WMTW News 8 Maine.
For parents struggling to get their kids online for remote learning. The Maine Department of Education says that it has secured internet connections for 22,000 students who otherwise may not have access. The commissioner making that announcement today during the CDC briefing.
Teachers who've been struggling to connect with their students, family members who have felt fairly alone, and now 100% of those students having reported through their schools a lack of connectivity have been connected.
The Department of Education has purchased 6 months of cellular data, and it is preparing for multiple scenarios which may include school closures extending into the fall.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Happening right now in New York City. Coronavirus update. New York's curve down. Rest of the nation going up. We can tell you that Governor Andrew Cuomo, he is speaking right now. That is happening right now in New York City. If you want to watch him speak, we will share the link with you on the Riley King Network Facebook page after this broadcast. Governor Andrew Cuomo announced a 4-state agreement to open beaches. New York City, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Delaware will open their beaches for Memorial Day weekend. Each state will make their own specific regulations. He also announced that hospitalizations and ICU patients were both down, but the number of new cases did increase a bit. The number of deaths went down to a still painful 132. Our curve is down, and the curve in the rest of the nation is up, Governor Cuomo said. Ocean City Hotel Group. Some properties are 100% booked for the first reopen weekend. Let's take a listen to that video from WJLA ABC 7.
In Ocean City, Maryland this evening, the stay-at-home order has been lifted. Retail stores on the boardwalk and all over town have reopened, and hotels are once again accepting guests. Many people taking advantage of the change in rules and the good weather to flock to the boardwalk and the beach today. Hotel owners report many properties filled up for the weekend as soon as they were allowed to accept reservations last night. People telling us they're just eager to get out of the house. Ocean City has had just 14 COVID-19 cases. The town's mayor does not want that number to grow.
Yes, we have concerns, but if everybody takes responsibility for their own actions, which is what really has to happen, not just here, but everywhere, we figure we'll be able to work through this.
Now, bars and restaurants in town remain closed. It's carry-out only. But many feel that with Memorial Day weekend coming, the timing of stage one of reopening could not have been better for this town. In Ocean City, Brad Bell, ABC 7 News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. North Carolina reports largest single-day increase of 853 COVID-19 cases. 17,923 total cases statewide with 652 deaths. Update from 11 a.m. today. In what is now the largest single-day increase, North Carolina health officials are reporting 17,982 COVID-19 cases. That marks 853 new cases being reported since Friday. The previous highest case update was Thursday with 691 new cases. Coast Guard suspends search for missing teenage swimmer. The United States Coast Guard suspended their search for a teenager who went missing off the coast of Jensen Beach. Linton Ward, 18, went missing Wednesday afternoon. A friend of Ward last saw him surf just south of the beach, across about 150 yards offshore. The Coast Guard tweeted Saturday morning that the search was suspended Friday evening. And here is a photo, as you can see right here. Norcrow restaurant opens for dine-in service against governor's order. A Norcrow restaurant has reopened for dine-in business before the state has allowed such reopenings, while following social distance guidelines. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC 7, California.
Services and complimentary Wi-Fi data. If you need a new Chevy, interest-free APR financing for 84 months on many of our most popular models, or defer monthly payments for 120 days. You may even shop online and take delivery at home where available. It's just our way of doing our part.
Businesses in the Inland Empire, they're going even further. Some are reopening against state orders. Eyewitness News reporter Robin Fillon spoke to one restaurant owner that opened its doors for dining.
After a 2-month shutdown, the original Pancake House in Norco is again open for dine-in service, although technically not allowed to be open per the governor's orders.
So far, the response has been overwhelmingly positive. Of course, there's always going to be that one person who isn't happy, but you can see the dining room right now. We're decently busy.
Owner Megan Kikagawa says the past 2 months have been brutal. with sales down between 80 and 85%.
Our employees and businesses literally are live paycheck to paycheck on a best case scenario.
Even though they're back open, it's not business as usual. Some tables were empty because they wanted to make sure different parties were at least 6 feet apart. The employees had masks and gloves on. There was a hand sanitizing station up front and plenty of signage.
We're following all of the guidelines posted by the CDC and all the guidelines that were distributed by the state of California on Tuesday.
So will they be forced to close? Sheriff Chad Bianco says he's not going to be doing anything about it, and the health department says it's a state issue. District 2 Supervisor Karen Spiegel wants businesses to reopen, but says she doesn't want them to get in trouble with the state.
That's one of those things that they're going to have to make that decision. We can't help them when the state comes after them, particularly if you're talking licensing. The licensing for cosmetology, for medical.
Regardless, this restaurant is now open for business.
We're getting a lot of support on social media, a lot of support obviously from people coming into the restaurant.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. McDonald's is going to look drastically different when it reopens. When McDonald's restaurants reopen their dining rooms, customers should expect stickers on the floor encouraging social distancing and the closure of self-serve beverage bars. Workers wearing masks might check in with a thumbs up or kindly ask you to move away from others. The chain is preparing to reopen its location in dine-in customers as U.S. states loosen stay-at-home orders. Recently sent out a detailed instruction manual to franchise operators in the United States. The 59-page document, which was obtained by CNN Business, outlines the minimum sanctions and social distance requirements each must meet before opening its dining rooms. The contents of the manual were first reported by the Wall Street Journal. The franchise will operate over 90% of all McDonald's worldwide will have to pay for their own supplies, the document said. And that does it for this afternoon edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Have a great rest of your afternoon, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.